everyone, you're watching WION. I'm Aisha Sindhu. This is our 7 p.m. special broadcast. Remember, WION's the only Indian channel that brings you the latest news with a global perspective. On tonight's show, the Tamil superstar Rajinikanth is taking his first tentative steps into a full-fledged political career. Or is he? We'll get to that discussion in just a bit. But first up, this was a day of big surprises from the Bharatiya Janata Party, with them announcing a relative unknown insider, the current Bihar governor, Ram Nath Kovind, as their presidential candidate. More about this in this next report.
India is all set to elect Ram Nath Kovind as its next president, with TRS and ADMK supporting Kovind's accession to the Raisena Hill is sealed. A low profile but an insider, Kovind fulfilled every criteria of BJP, including his Dalit identity.
राष्ट्रपति पद के चुनाव में एनडीए के प्रत्याशी के रूप में आज श्री रामनाथ कोविंद गवर्नर बिहार का नाम तय किया गया है.
By choosing him, Bharatiya Janata Party has effectively neutralized the charge of Rahul Gandhi of the party being anti-Dalit. The move coincides with massive door-to-door campaign launched by Amit Shah. Meanwhile, the Congress party remains ambivalent on NDA's choice.
क्या निर्णय लिया जाएगा उसमें वो सभी दल मिलके लेंगे. इसलिए कांग्रेस पार्टी कोई अलग हाँ या ना या नहीं कर सकती है और किसी कैंडिडेट पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहेगा.
Barring the election of Sanjeeva Reddy, all presidential elections have seen a contest. It looks like there will be elections this time around too, but BJP looks to have picked a winning candidate this time.
In selecting Ram Nath Kovind as its nominee to be the next president of India, the Bharatiya Janata Party has clearly stumped the opposition parties and has surprised many within its own ranks. With the numbers firmly stacked in favor of the BJP, the party should not face much problem in getting Mr. Kovind elected as the next president. Probably the only way the opposition can make this fight interesting is by fielding a candidate who has higher political stature than Mr. Kovind and has better acceptability across party lines. In New Delhi, with camera person B.D. Dhyani, Raghavendra Rao, WION.
So clearly this is a candidate who was on nobody's radar, and the opposition is suitably flummoxed by anointing a Dalit face to the highest office in the land. The BJP has neutralized the anti-Dalit rant that the opposition, especially the Congress, was throwing at them. In many ways, this could be a political masterstroke. Now, the opposition is clearly regrouping and by all counts might be coming up with their own candidate. But has the BJP already stitched up a victory? Well, to talk more about that, we are joined in the discussion tonight by WION's political editor, Kartikeya Sharma. He's here in the studio with me. WION's correspondent, Raghavendra Rao, joins us live from Delhi. Also with us is political commentator, Neerja Chaudhary. Good evening, everyone. Thanks very much for being part of the conversation. Raghavendra, just to put the ball rolling on this conversation, first question, does the BJP have the numbers?
Well, absolutely. As far as the electoral arithmetic of these presidential polls is concerned, the BJP does have the required numbers. They were, I mean, if you were to just count the votes of all the NDA constituents, the BJP is short of something like 20,000 odd votes, but that can be taken care of by friendly parties like the TRS and the AIADMK. So as far as the numbers are concerned, the BJP is surely on a firm wicket.
Neerja, if I can come to you next, very simply, the question is, why has the BJP chosen a Dalit candidate?
I think if you keep in mind BJP's politics that they would be planning for 2019 general elections, which are now on their radar, the Dalit factor has emerged as a very critical factor of late. And there has been a growing restiveness amongst the Dalits, though large number of Dalits did support Mr. Modi in 2014, also in Uttar Pradesh. Yet, there was this Chennai IIT, if you remember, there were clashes, Rohit Vemula incident, Una, there were clashes against Dalits, and more recently in Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh, the Dalit Thakur clashes. Thakur, a caste to which Yogi Adityanath belongs. And therefore, the BJP has been, I think, worried and concerned about that. And it obviously wants to give a signal that it wants to project Dalits, it has their well-being at heart. So I think UP is critical for BJP for that reason. Again, 2019, in 2014 it got 71 seats. In the recent elections it got an absolutely whopping majority in the state assembly.
Right.
And therefore, unless it can repeat that kind of a performance in Uttar Pradesh in 2019, whether it will make it to the majority mark will remain a question mark. Therefore, I think Dalit, UP, both are factors that must have been in its consideration when it decided to choose Mr. Kovind as a nominee for president.
Fair enough. Karthikeya, Neerja saying it's been a critical factor, especially of late. But if I can ask you, how does one categorize this maneuver? Is this purely political? Is it retaliatory? Is it conciliatory? Or is it a little bit of everything?
I think it's surprising. And I agree with Neerja there. What it does is it tries to wrest the narrative away from the opposition on Dalit. Now, Dalit issue started with Rohit Vemula, yes. But then you had the issue, as she mentioned, of Una. Then you had this problem of cow vigilantes and Dalits being, targeted. Because there is a substantial portion of Dalit population is part of the skinning industry.
Right.
Then secondly, BJP did well, got non-Jata vote. But that was not enough for them to wrest the narrative away from the Congress, which had somehow married the Dalit issue with farmers issue, saying that, this is not the way a government should run. And Congress had done its own arithmetic. You see, Gandhis always portray themselves as Brahmins from Kashmir. You have Mallikarjun Kharge, a South Indian Dalit from Karnataka. You had Ghulam Nabi Azad, a Muslim from Jammu, as leader of opposition. So they had, post 2014, they were putting their arithmetic in place. BJP realizing that despite the fact that they went for Sabka Vikas, Sabka Saath, the brute sectional reality of Indian politics cannot be ignored.
Okay.
But I'll be very, very surprised, or I would like to know if it happens that what are the indications coming from Bharatiya Janata Party, because Dalits have their Ambedkar. Tribal has never seen the high office. So I would wait and watch as to what happens when it comes to the elections to the vice president's position.
Okay, so we'll have to, that remains to be seen, of course, and we'll see if the BJP decides to go for that combine that we've been talking about. But Raghavendra, if I can come across to you, what exactly can one expect, if anything, from the opposition following today's masterstroke?
Well, first of all, it is yet to be seen as to how the major opposition parties react to Mr. Kovind's candidature as the president of India. The Congress, the reaction of the Congress would be very critical. Yes, the kind of low profile Mr. Kovind has. He has been a very non-controversial figure. He's a man who's known to toe the party line to the T. He's a person who's talked of as a very soft-spoken, amiable person within the BJP circles. The BJP thinks that there is not much fault one can find with a personality like Mr. Ram Nath Kovind, and it is hoping that the opposition will not be able to punch any holes in his candidature. But what the opposition would be doing at this point is to just run a blueprint of Mr. Kovind's career and all that he has done so far in his public life. Now, he may be a very unassuming kind of and a non-controversial figure,
right,
but also the fact that he is a political lightweight. This is something which the opposition would want to cash upon. And if the opposition parties, the kind of polarization which is happening against the ruling BJP and the kind of unity which appears to be developing between the opposition parties, also with an eye at the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, one would not be surprised if these parties actually came together, and there are leaders within these opposition parties who are much more high profile than Mr. Kovind. So if they were to settle on a consensus candidate, say even the likes of, say, for example, a Sharad Yadav,
Right.
Or you know, any other person who may be a you know, politically more may carry politically more stature and weightage than Mr. Kovind. That is what the opposition would want to do, because clearly it seems the opposition does not want to let go of this opportunity to make a fight out of it, and I don't think that they would, you know, just forfeit this contest. They would want to make a match of it, and for that to happen, they need to have a candidate in place, and we may get to see some very interesting consensus candidate emerging out of the opposition ranks.
Okay, Neerja, do you predict a similar storyline to what Raghavendra is looking at, that this might just be the opportunity for the opposition that's been accused of being in shambles so far to actually come ahead with a consensus candidate that could, you know, force the BJP onto the back foot?
Well, I think force the BJP on the back foot, I wouldn't go so far, because BJP, as was being said, was NDA was 20,000 votes short of the majority. But with the two factions of the Anna DMK, with the Telangana Rashtra Samiti and YSR Congress already indicating their support, it should be over the hump. It remains to be seen what the Shiv Sena does. They are still non-committal about Mr. Kovind. On the other side, the UP parties, so far BSP and SP both have indicated that they may support Mr. Kovind's candidature, one because he's from UP, two because he's Dalit. And Mr. Nitish Kumar has also expressed his happiness at the choice of the candidate. The Bihar government has had no problem, no controversies with him. He has been stated, you know, he's a very low-key man, very, very highly polite and courteous person, a veteran with experience of law and parliamentary functioning and so on. Yet, if the Congress, for instance, and this is being talked about in this evening, if it decides to field someone like Meera Kumar, who's also a Dalit, a Jatav, remember Mr. Kovind is not a Jatav. Mr. Kovind is a small Dalit community of Kori, which would be categorized as Mahadalits. So it would be very interesting. And what will the Janata Dal U do then? If Congress feels somebody like Meera Kumar, who comes from Bihar, also a Dalit, what will Mayawati do then? Will it become a dilemma for them? And I think all this, the coming hours are going to be determining it. I'm not saying that in all likelihood Mr. Kovind will get through, but it becomes very interesting politics if somebody like Meera Kumar is fielded and there is a larger measure of opposition unity around her than might have been the case around some other candidate. So politics then of the opposition also starts to hot up that little bit.
Right. Kartikeya, so it isn't over till it's over.
No, I think, you know, Neerja has made absolutely pertinent point by pointing out that the candidate of NDA is a non-Jatav. You see, when we use the word Dalit, we are talking about a community which is very heterogeneous. As we were discussing, you had multiple segments within Dalits. BJP, in number of elections, have been getting non-Jatav votes, which is non-Jatav Dalit. Jatavs are within the Dalit community, the well-off section, which is represented by the Mayawati. You know, Mayawati and the Jatavs have voted for Mayawati because she belongs to the community. But it is the non-Jatav part of the Dalit community which has been from 2014 voting for Bharatiya Janata Party. So that's the reason, as she was pointing out, and I completely agree with her, that it's a very strategic move. Not only it is within the rubric of Dalit, it is in that rubric where those have been voting for BJP, as she described, Mahadalit.
Okay, so it really isn't exactly as simple as it seems. We could just see another surprise being sprung. That is, if the opposition rallies itself together and comes up with a candidate who might, if nothing else, at least force the BJP a rethink on the way it's approaching politics. But again, as a tried journalist, I'll say we'll have to wait and watch. But on that note, thanks very much, everyone, for being here on the broadcast. Neerja, Kartikeya, and of course, Raghavendra Rao for being with us.